From WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is ParksCenter 100. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of ParksCenter. Joining me tonight, we have Allison.
Happy 100, everyone.
Jill.
Keep it 100.
Rob.
100 and going.
And we had Pete. Oh,
Sivaco! 100 episodes! Who's excited? I know I am. What?
I can't look. I can't look.
Okay, hold on.
I can't look.
Hold on. All right. Hold
Pete,
on.
put your shirt on.
And it's shirtless.
It ain't that
Pete.
kind of party.
They called him Shirtless Pete. I can't sing the rest or I'll get content ID'd.
All right.
There we go.
I'm back.
Welcome, everybody, to our 100th episode. And to celebrate, we have some big news. I'm so excited. We actually have news for this week's show. So we posted a while back on April 22nd that Shanghai Disneyland started setting up some social distancing cues for what appeared to be an imminent reopening. And then this was confirmed on May 5th that Shanghai is going to be opening on May 11th with reservation-only limited attendance and temperature screenings. And Chapek stating the other Disney parks will follow the same protocol when they're reopening. And then later we found out some more details about what exactly is involved in those new enhanced protocols. Some of the highlights from that is that you've got to buy dated tickets in advance, or if you've got an annual pass, you need to be making reservations in advance. At least in Shanghai, you're going to need a Green Health QR code, which is, I believe, a China-based way of proving that you are healthy, along with temperature scans at the gate and constant mask usage throughout the park. They're going to be at 30% capacity. They're going to have the social distancing cues that we showed you and spaced out seating at shows. They're going to increase sanitation, although they haven't really stated how, outside of more hand sanitizer locations and things like that. There's going to be no close meetings with characters. Instead, they're going to be appearing throughout lands and just kind of saying hi from afar. And there's going to be no parades or fireworks, but instead a frequent Mickey and Friends Express character procession, which we don't quite know what that is, but I don't like the word procession. The only other time I've heard the word procession is in a funeral procession. I've never heard the word otherwise.
That's why they use that word, Ben.
That's just sad.
I guess they're afraid of using the term parade because then people will congregate, but that's still going to happen when you have a procession of characters walking by, which is the definition of parade. So yeah, it's a little nonsensical.
Oh, Chet did mention that there's processions for graduations. That's also a fair point. There are two uses of the word. So
Two things nobody wants to go to: graduations and funerals.
Hey, I'm really excited about this news, and I don't know why, because I'm never going to China. I don't think, especially I feel like not now. But I am really excited that at least there will be a Disney park open somewhere in the world, and that's exciting, and that's a first step. It feels like this step is going to be how we decide what we're going to be doing here. I hope that it all works out perfectly for them. Yeah. But there's nothing here that we didn't already sort of know was going to happen. So I'd like to see how this works out, and hopefully this will be a positive thing and mean that we can see openings here too very soon.
Yeah,
I really like the idea of social distancing cues in normal times.
Yes.
I feel like the stickers that they put on the ground are not quite 6 feet apart, and if you have a party that's like your family of 4 or 5 or 6, I don't know how it's going to work, but my hope is that families may give even one of those in between each family would be pretty cool. So you wouldn't have a family standing on each one. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look. It looks
No,
like
those aren't 6 feet.
2.5.
Those can't be the ones they're going to use because they're not 6 feet or even close. Publix does a better job. And the 6 feet, as long as it's close enough, you can at least you have a marker. Because I was thinking the same thing. If you're in a group of 5 or 6, you're going to take up probably 6 feet or more. So it's good to kind of look and be like, that's about 6 feet. Yeah, I mean, this is exciting news. I feel like everyone, pretty much around the world, because the parks are everywhere in huge cities, and especially here in the country, people are waiting for Disney to make a move so everyone else can follow. So for them to have that first domino drop, like, and say, all right, we're gonna try this, see if it works. We know the other parks will follow suit shortly after. Especially here in Florida, because, I mean, we are doing pretty well. We're on a 14-day decline. We reopened the state on Monday. I was out last night for Cinco de Mayo, and people were social distancing. They were outdoors, and the staff was doing everything they were supposed to do. So, I mean, this is encouraging. It's exciting. I think we needed this. And I'm hoping it all works out.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. The one thing that really stands out to me about this is the one thing that's happening here that we really can't replicate in the US, at least as of right, which is this health QR code.
Yes.
Which, if you do a little digging on the internet, boy, is this thing scary, because it's this app that there's not really nobody's really been able to identify. So it classifies you as green, yellow, or red based on criteria that is not available for anyone to look at, and apparently also shares information about you with the Chinese police. So that's all kind of scary.
That's a whole
but
messed up thing. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Their personality
But,
scores and everything else going on in China, they have a lot of
score.
issues
No,
politically.
I totally agree. I'm just saying, like, this is another step they're using to somehow try to reassure people that the people who are in the park are safe to be around and are not a threat of spreading coronavirus. But we don't have anything comparable. So when the parks reopen here, is there anything that we can do in the US to replace that step? Since I don't think anything like that would fly here. That was kind of the thing that I was like, all the other steps we can relatively replicate, but that one is the one that we kind of can't, or at least I hope shouldn't.
Well, no, but
so I thought that was...
we can do temperature scans. It's going to take a little bit longer to get into the park per se, but I doubt they're going to make us still do the fingerprint. It's probably just going to be the scan, like when it's busy, then do a temperature read, and they're doing it at a limited capacity anyway. They're probably going to open with 25%, 50%.
I think it's 30%.
Yeah. So
it's 30.
The temperature scan is better than nothing. Plus, with all the hand sanitizer everywhere and all the other procedures they laid out, it's not a bad plan. I mean, and they need to reopen the parks. If you heard that quarterly earnings call, they need people in the parks.
I absolutely agree. The other thing I thought was interesting about what they're doing is because there's limited capacity, I think it's 30% park capacity. Hi, Pete.
I never get to be right next to you.
Right now. Nice. I feel like I'm on
It
your
is. This is my Jill shirt. This is my Jill shirt.
Oh, jeez.
I wish. I feel like what they're doing for APs is really cool because the capacity is limited and you have to make a reservation, and those reservations are limited whether you're an AP or not. So they're continuing to extend their AP's time frame throughout this limited opening. So that makes me think that they're going to do that in Florida, which would be nice. So if they have limited capacity, and here's the thing, if they're at 30% capacity and they're reopening, I feel like tickets are going to go like that. Like, I think this is going to be like Shop Disney when mini main event merchandise comes out. People are just going to flood it to get these passes to go. Yeah. And I think Florida will be the same way if that's what they do in Florida. So I think it's cool that APs are getting their passes extended, which makes me feel like my pass is going to be valid for a good long while. Ever? And I can... Forever. I hope not forever. While I'd love it from a financial perspective, I hope not.
Yeah,
forever.
the logistics.
Well, one of the things that worries me is the unknown about getting to the parks, and that's kind of one of the things that bothers me about, in general, the boarding group situation. Is that we, especially in this group, and the people who are watching, are huge Disney park fans. We all feel like we kind of know the system and how to use it and how to play it and what we can expect. But when you go at 5 a.m. to get on a boarding group, and then you may still not get on. There's a lot of panic on that, and I think that there's probably going to be some of that when you go to the park now. And I just feel for the families that have like little kids that they've been excited and they go there, and not only is everybody going to be wearing masks, which is a must, they've got to do that for safety reasons, but you get to that front gate and you don't know if for some reason maybe that temperature is going to spike a little high, or the park's going to be at capacity or something like that. And again, it's just going to have to happen. But I think that's going to be a very heart-wrenching moment over and over again. And I hope that gets avoided somehow.
Yeah.
I love Yoda's wearing a party hat. That's fantastic.
Oh,
that's party time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's party time, man.
I love it.
Yeah, he's in.
I like that guy.
The one last thing I want to say about this topic before we go on, though, is that how much do we pay for separate ticket events where we know that park capacity is limited? And now we're staring down the barrel of paying just normal price to be able to get into a park that's at 30% capacity guaranteed, like essentially by law.
But you're also, a lot of people see that as a risk, is that if by going to the parks, I mean, while, there's people like me who believe with these procedures, I'll be okay, they're doing everything they can, and I'm okay with taking that risk. There's others who are like, I'm not going to these parks until I have a vaccine in my body, or my children, or my grandparents, and again, we talked about this on another show, grandparents take a lot of people and families to Disney, and grandparents are the one most at risk. So, and a lot of people cancel trips. A lot of people are pushing them back more than a year. So I'm not afraid. I think this 30% is going to be, they don't even have to mandate that. I think we're going to see the parks around 25 to 30% full anyway.
That's fair.
I think it's interesting, though, because by saying they're capping capacity, I think they're going to create almost an artificial demand. Like, it's one thing if they didn't big deal about that, and it was just like, if you feel comfortable coming, you can come. But if they're going to be selling a limited number of tickets every day, I think that's going to create this demand that maybe will, not artificially, but will inflate what would have been there anyway.
Yeah.
I also think they're going to do some kind of soft opening in some kind of way, not just be like people drive by and the parks are open, but, a lot of people are speculating mid-June or late June, but I have a feeling they're taking reservations starting June 1st, that they may just have the parks open and say like a day or two before, the parks will resume, but we're going to be in the process of reopening restaurants and reopening attractions. Mm-hmm. Not everything may be open to the public. Not every restaurant may be open. And kind of see if people flood in and deal with that demand and see how many people show up so they can kind of put their feet in the water and test out how many people are going to show. Because you're going to have the people, the crazies like me, who'd show up opening day no matter what and rope drop. And then you're going to have people who keep their distance. So we'll see what happens.
I'm going to be very interested to see what rope drop looks like the first day.
I'll send you a pic.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to Florida proper now. So Florida did recently announce that they are starting their phase 1 of their reopening plan. This started on May 4th, 2 days ago as of air. Restaurants and retail locations are reopening with some limited capacity. When we originally posted about this, it wasn't clear if Walt Disney World was going to be doing anything with this. But then very quickly after that announcement was made, Disney Springs put out or made a push notification to everybody with the Walt Disney World app, making it perfectly clear that they are going to be remaining closed until they say otherwise, and essentially won't be reopening with this phase 1 reopen. However, the Grapefruit Garage over at Disney Springs reopened on May 4th. This is probably a sign that cast and other employees who frequently use that garage are back on property, trying to prepare for an inevitable opening.
And it's not open like to the public. Like, I drove by it. It says cast members only. So the garage is open, but you can only get in if you are a cast member with I was like, oh, it's open. Let me go to a little drive by, check it out, maybe just park and bask in an open Disney property. No, it is cast members only leading into Grapefruit Garage. So they're making sure the public's not rushing back. But it is very exciting to see something open. Like I said, I hopped in the car and was like, let me go check this out. I filmed a video because I was so excited. Like, something's opening. I need to go. And a lot of my favorite restaurants are at Disney Springs. It's the closest place to get food to my home. So I was very excited. But I think it's a great step in the right direction. It's not, and what people are forgetting, they can't just be like, oh, we're okay to open the parks and restaurants, let's go. Like, they have to restock refrigerators, bring back their staff, like, dust the whole place, clean the place, get the tables and chairs back. Like, it's going to take a process to get these things open, let alone, and that's just restaurants. Forget retail shops, then the parks, and then you have to wipe everything again, top to bottom. Your walls, floors, every little object, and there is a lot of things on the walls at Disney. So
yeah,
it's going to be a process, and you have to restock your food. And also, if you ordered food, it doesn't just, like, show up. These other suppliers you have to order it, you have to get it there, make sure they have a delivery truck, make sure they can drop it off, make sure you have someone there to accept it. It's going to take a lot of logistics to get these up and running. So starting now, I was going to say it's going to take 2 to 3 weeks. So opening grapefruit this week, I could see beginning of June.
Do you think that they've got a like a soft opening date internally at this point? Like that like they're not making it public, but inside Disney's like, hey, be ready to open on like the 11th or something. Like,
so if I'm looking at a calendar, what I was going to say is if the state opened on the 4th, I thought Disney would wait an extra 2 weeks. So we waited for a 14-day decline, and we soft opened the state, if you will. Restaurants and retail shops can open at 25%. Outdoor seating is okay with 6 feet apart, and even indoor seating at 25% capacity is allowed with 6 feet of space. So if that happened here in Florida on the 4th, if you look at a calendar, that May 18th-ish range, so if Disney's like, hey, we went above and beyond, we not only waited 14 days, we put another 14 days behind that, open just Disney Springs up, a few restaurants, a few shops that want to open, keep that voluntary to them, and then that is also coincidentally 2 weeks before June 1st, which is when they are still taking reservations for. So it kind of, timetable-wise, would work out. Okay, the state opened May 4th. We will wait 2 weeks. Disney Springs open. 2 weeks later, it's June 1st. Oh, yeah, we still have people with hotel reservations for June 1st and dining and everything else. They haven't canceled anything for June. So it could work out nicely that way. Again, this is strictly a guess. I don't know anything. I don't know anyone that works in a higher up at Disney. But that's just me looking at a calendar and thinking this works business-wise, strategy-wise. You're not a bad person, and it's right in their timeline that they've been working with.
Yeah,
I think they have to, in large part because these are for the most.
Oh no, we
Jill?
lost Jill. Oh no.
Oh no. It wouldn't be a ParksCenter without some kind of tech issue. So
let me jump in though. I feel like that there was a situation, or one of the articles that said that Disney would open up at their discretion. So I feel like, and I think it said because they are basically a city unto themselves. So I think that they've really got to, feel confident that they can open up, and there's going to be bigger stories if people say I got COVID-19 at Disney. So, they're certainly going to try to cover every base. And I honestly, and maybe this is the pixie dust, I feel like they're going to do a better job than anybody else at preparing for opening. So, I would actually say I think it'll be a little bit longer than that until they open. I would love to think it'd be June 1st, but I think we're talking probably mid-June before they open. That's just a guess.
Just for the Springs or the whole parks?
Oh, no, I think for any of it. I mean, the Springs, like, you don't have a way to shut that down as easily, I think, as you do others. I mean, obviously, you have certain points of entry, but you have a lot of points of entry for the Springs.
You do, yeah.
And then when you're talking about the parks, you can schedule that, and like they've talked about reservations, and maybe they've got a reservation system in mind for the Springs, but it really is going to depend, I think, for them on their third-party vendors who are going to open, because there are a lot of third-party vendors, mostly at the Springs, but I guess I was thinking in total Disney opening, because it's going to probably, like Pete said, they got supply chains to worry about, but I think they've also got their reputation to worry about, and I think that they're going to try to make sure that they have everything covered before they open those doors.
I was going to say, if I could just counter that, is that Springs, I think, is capable of closing. And we've seen this on busy Friday and Saturday nights where they shut down the parking garages, or say the garage is closed. So if you show up to Springs and let's say it happens to be crowded, they can just legit flip the sign from open to closed and put the security guard right there and not let you in the garages. If you can't park, you're not going to Springs unless you want to park up the road and walk it. But they don't care about those 20 people willing to walk a quarter mile, 2 miles, whatever it is, into Springs. And there's a lot of space. You could easily social distance at Springs. It is huge. I mean, that is over a mile long Springs, very deep, and that's just the outside areas. And if people are inside the restaurants at 25%, and again, people are going to be cautious. They just want to walk around and be out. They can up security. I think Springs is going to be a nice soft open for them. And if they wanted to cap it and they saw that the garages were 25% full, they could just close the garages.
Yeah.
Well, you also have open parking there too in the back. So they're going to have somebody.
No, the surface parking is the same way. Is that there is literally like a sign that shows you how many spots are open, and you have to go past a security guard if they put one there. So if the security guard because even right now they're all closed, I can't even pull onto the surface parking if I wanted to. There's a security car sitting right there, not letting me in. They're only letting in certain deliveries and staff. So to me, you would be able to do that. I don't think they would even have to though. There's so much space at Springs. And it's not like if you open Springs, the world is going to all show up at once and be like, we all have to go to STK. Like, it's not going to happen.
Hey, Jill's back.
Hey!
Hey!
Sorry about that.
That would be a changed world if everyone is like, I have to go to STK.
But don't you think it's like you want to go anywhere you can? I mean, if they're open in Disney Springs, then go to Disney Springs. I mean, I would be very excited to go to, go just to Disney Springs just to say there's some bit of Disney that I can reach out into and stuff I can do.
I am rope dropping the park on the first day, and you will see me at Disney Springs the day it opens. So again, I'll send you a pic.
Sir.
Okay.
Well, strong immune system.
Disney is going to certainly need you to do that because their earnings report came out, and headline: The Walt Disney Company loses $1 billion due to the COVID-19 crisis. Parks and Resorts revenue down 10%. Like, yeah,
isn't that like the most like, to me, like the most like ridiculous headline? Because you read like they lost $1 billion. That's crazy, and it's like, well, they're down 10%. Yeah, like what? Like I haven't lost $1 billion, but my company is down 99%. I feel devastated. Like what? Like that's such a contradicting headline.
To be fair, it is clarified further down in here that the revenue from Parks and Resorts was down 10% versus last year to 5.5 billion, if I'm doing that math right, and their operating income was down 58% to 639 million. So that $1 billion number is coming from this line here, where Disney estimates the impact of the virus on the operating income for the whole segment to be around $1 billion. So they haven't quite realized that loss yet, but they're projecting it to happen like that.
Yeah.
This is not unexpected, in my opinion. I feel like this is something that a lot of us kind of saw coming. But I guess the sticker shock on that $1 billion line here is just kind of blowing me away a little bit, at least. You'd think with all the online sales that they'd be able to pull something off.
Well, I mean, I think that online sales is saving them, and I actually think, thank God for Disney Plus. Can you imagine if there was no Disney Plus? Like, that's always the silver lining in all these reports. Like, Disney Plus is up this amount, or brand new subscribers, 50 million, new subscribers are subscribed. Like, if they didn't launch Disney Plus this past year when they did, they were just, what would Disney have right now? It would just be like, you would have Shop Disney, and that is the biggest dumpster fire of dumpster fires ever. They honestly should just close it and say, like, we're coming back in 4 months. We apologize for everything.
For those who don't
you
know,
can only successfully order wishables. I have successfully ordered way too many wishables, but I've not been able to successfully order anything else.
Has anybody on the panel been double charged or charged and not ordered or had their order canceled?
I haven't even gone to Shop Disney and I was charged. It's insane.
What's sad is I believe you.
They just know me and they're like, he'll never notice this on his credit card. Hit him for something.
Oh. For those who
I actually ordered I ordered a Magic Band like in February that never showed up because it was one of those Mickey Man attractions. They were like, sure, you can buy it, but other than that, I just feel like it's my only outreach, and so I like to go on there and look and see what they have available. And to Jill's point, I mean, like wishables seems to be like the thing. I know in chat everybody's talking about which ones you have. I have too many. Tom's got like 3 of the same one. He's trying to trade. So I mean, at least it gives us something to talk about. But yeah, I mean, the May the 4th. Oh my gosh! I mean, I think we all logged on at 10 o'clock to try to go in and see what we could get. And I don't think my screen in the virtual queue actually came on until noon. I mean, I was sitting at my desk working and just kept looking over at it and nothing happened. And it popped up. It's like, hey, you can buy stuff now. There's nothing here, but you can buy stuff now. So, I mean, I bought a couple things from that, but it is definitely a problem. But I think it just was not designed for the level of abuse that we're giving it at this point.
I mean, they really should fix, like, stop doing these drops until you've got your stuff together, because I'm sure it's not cheap to have all these cancellations and refunds going, because I don't know a ton about credit card processing, but I know that's not free.
Yeah.
Like if I go to a site and I have to wait for hours to give you money, I'm and you're lucky you have super fans, but I'm sure there's a percentage of people like me who just say no way. Like even on May the 4th, I saw everyone, like even on our internal chat group. I saw everyone else having problems. I never even logged on. I'm like, I'm not going to sit in front of a computer and hit refresh all day long and waste my time to try and give away my hard-earned precious money that I have very little of because of this crisis. And you're scaring people away. Like, you have all the money in the world. Go hire a tech team that can handle this. Like, what are you doing?
I mean,
it's like having a guy.
See Disney experience. See the website.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Allison.
Oh my gosh.
It's not their strong suit.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for the news part of this week's episode. So let's slide on over for a minute here. This is our 100th episode. So thank you folks for being with us for 100 episodes. I haven't watched this yet. Rob threw this together. We put out a call for folks on staff and our WIGs, our WDWNT Interglobe Society members, to send us some clips, and let's just roll this and see this, because like I said, I haven't seen this yet, and I'm real excited to see this.
Hey Ben, it's Matthew Soberman. I just wanted to congratulate ParksCenter on 100 episodes. To mark the occasion, I decided to bring out an old favorite. If you remember my rant about the 2018 Epcot International Festival of the Holidays, I made some latkes. So, for all of you, cheers to 100 episodes.
Hey Ben and all the ParksCenter crew, I just wanted to take a quick minute and congratulate all of you on 100 episodes. I can't believe it started 100 episodes ago in the Around the Hub Slack channel. It's pretty amazing what you've all done. It's a terrific show, and I'm so proud and happy for all of you. Hub.
Hey everyone. Hello. Greetings from the Sunshine State. Siva, go! And to call Chief me, Moogle, happy 100 episodes, ParksCenter.
Clay Kitty and I want to wish you guys a happy 100th episode. He's so happy he's purring.
Hello, ParksCenter, and wow, 100 episodes. Congratulations. And especially to Ben for doing all he does and hosts the show and puts it all together. And especially to Ben, congratulations. But the whole team, I loved being on the show when I was on it, and I enjoy watching it now. So, how about another 100, huh?
Hey, it's WIGS member Courtney. I just wanted to say happy 100th episode to everybody involved in ParksCenter. We look forward to the show every Wednesday. It's such a good show. Not only is it the most diverse in opinion, but it's also the most on time, so wear that badge proudly. Again, we love you guys. Thank you for everything you do, and happy 100th! Woo!
Hi, this is Chris from Massachusetts, and I just want to wish Ben and all of the panelists congratulations on 100 episodes of ParksCenter. I've enjoyed watching the first 99 episodes, and I can't wait to see what's in store for the next 100 episodes. So thank you for all of the content that you provide on Wednesday nights, and keep up the great work. Thank you very much.
Hi guys, thank you so much for all that you do. You're an amazing group of people. Happy 100th episode from Arizona, Tracy and Amina. Thank you.
Hey Ben and everybody on ParksCenter, I wanted to congratulate you, obviously on behalf of the entire website, on 100 episodes. You've outlasted some incredible shows like WDWNT at the movies and Who's Q, and also no, it's a Herculean effort to run a show, and especially do it for nearly 100 weeks consecutively. So Ben, congratulations on keeping up with it, and congratulations to everyone on the panel for helping to make it happen every single week. Here's to 100 more, and here's to disagreeing with me on everything and calling me the devil.
Yes!
I was like moved to tears until Tom's video
I got
came
chills.
on.
I got chills.
Oh my gosh. I lost it at the latke. He made latkes.
Oh, what a good start! That was awesome. Thanks to everyone who did that. That was really sweet.
Yeah, big thank you to
And I will
everybody
say,
who sent
Ben,
that in.
when you say only 100 episodes to you, and to keep a show going for 100 shows in a row, it's actually like 100 and like what? Like it's actually like 2.5, like 2.5.
Yeah, we did like 2.5 extra episodes.
So we started in March, now May. You have been going every week, every Wednesday, keeping us all strong. So a big congratulations to you, sir. I think you do a brilliant job, and you do all the tech, and you prep the show. And for all those watching, he gives us our topics, he does the research, he does our attendance, make sure he has a full staff, deals with our problems. He deals with me every week, and I am not always the easiest. So kudos to you, sir. You've done such a great job. And obviously everyone else, you guys make the show. I love hanging out with you guys. So thanks so much for letting me be a part of it.
Hey, Ben, I have to say, Amina just did a super
chat
for
no, I was going to call these folks out. Oh my gosh. So going in reverse chronological order.
Thank you.
Amina, my goodness, that is $100 super chat. Thank you so much. That is amazing. Happy 100th to everyone at ParksCenter donating 100. That's so cool. Thank you so much. And then Schmo Force started it off by donating $2 for a happy 100 episodes. So thank you so much as well. Really do appreciate that. Big shout out to you, to everybody else who has super chatted before, and to all of our Wigs members who support us and make this show possible and worth producing. And to everybody watching, honestly, like even if you can't support the show financially, thank you so much for watching and being here. It means so much to us. I love seeing how many people come and enjoy this show, and it makes it something that's worth putting the effort into. Like Pete went and detailed all the work that goes into each of these shows, and it really means a lot to me and to everybody else here to know how many people are watching this and how much this show means to you folks. So a big thank you for that. Also a big shout out to Rob. He makes all our graphics.
Hang out with Amina because her house looks
Can we hang out in the pool? That was a pretty
I'm gonna go hang out in Amina.
That's a great pool. I love that.
I'm gonna do ParksCenter live from Arizona one week. Mark my words. But yeah, also really Rob doing all the graphics, like amazing.
Yeah.
Every week, like
gosh.
our thumbnail,
every thumbnail is custom by him since episode 26, I think.
Putting that video together, and you also did a ton of research too. Like you're the best.
14.
I'm the friggin' best.
Since 14, we
it was episode 14. Yeah, because actually, like I started out, I was listening to Parks, and I remember listening when you guys were doing March Madness, and I was driving down to Disney and listening to the podcast while I was driving down. And then when I was working with the blog, and I think, Ben, you opened it up and said, hey, we're looking for people to come on, and I came on, and I was like, hey, can we talk about the thumbnail? Just because of doing graphic design, and I was like, I'd love to help, and you and I worked together and got a format going, and ever since then, I think that we've knocked it out of the park on the thumbnails, getting them up and on time and all that stuff. But I mean, I was talking to you a little bit about this today. Like I've been like in a Target parking lot, on times when I wasn't on the show, trying to get one in at the last minute. I remember sitting in the Magic Kingdom parking lot. You hitting me up with a reminder going, hey, I need a thumbnail for tonight. I was literally in the parking lot at Magic Kingdom before I was getting ready to hit the road on my laptop trying to put together the thumbnail for the show. So the show means a lot to me, and I appreciate, Ben, everything that you've done to let me work with you on all this stuff. So,
well, thank you all.
Rob's the best. Robin, you guys are all the best.
This is my favorite part of my week, hands down. Every week, I rarely miss, and it's only one of the ones I missed was because I was in labor, and I remember messaging Ben and telling him how far apart my contractions were, and thinking I probably shouldn't do the show today. And he found a replacement last minute, which is amazing. But I also remember I wasn't on the first few episodes from March Madness that year, and I was listening to it while I was on vacation. And I was like, I had recently gotten hired by WDWNT, and I was like, how do I get involved with this? These guys are all so cool, and this sounds like so much fun. And Ben was so welcoming, and then it's become, I feel like, my home at WDWNT, and also just home generally. I've loved hearing from fans. I don't use Instagram very much, but it's what my handle is up there, and I've had some people follow me and send me messages there, and it's just the coolest thing to hear from people, and also to chat with the Wigs after. I love talking about Disney and having my tribe here on ParksCenter with the panel and also with all of you.
Can I just say one thing? I don't know if you're going to talk about this later, Ben, but I was looking through like all the ParksCenter, each of the episodes and who was on and any milestones. And I think one of the milestones was I think Allison was on the show like 6 days after you had a baby.
That's right.
Yeah, like
I don't know
6
what
days.
I was
So
thinking.
good lord,
It was impressive. I don't know how you did it.
So I was in labor for 27 hours. So I went into labor on the Wednesday and she was born the next day on Thursday. The following Wednesday, I was back on ParksCenter. And I got to announce her birth and show a photo. And also, I almost was. I could have been, but I was a little worried about my face during the contractions. And Ben was like, "It's okay, Allison."
From WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Push Center.
no.
Ben is a saint, though. Like, if you go back to the early days of the show, that's when I was still traveling for work, so my Wi-Fi depended on what hotel I was staying in.
Oh, I remember that. Oh.
And there would just be weeks with no Wi-Fi, couldn't get on. Then I went to the Vineyard, and I worked there until like 7, and I had to rush like an hour home. It was such a saint putting up with me all the times. Yeah.
He would be like, my ETA is 8:52.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd be like,
No.
home at 8:50.
Update 8:56.
Yeah, exactly.
And meanwhile, I'm over here like, how are you sending that when you're driving?
I'm like, I'm doing 110 miles an hour, but I'll be there in 48 minutes.
I get
like,
in
slow
text.
down.
It's like, what are you doing? Yeah. Either slow down or don't text. I don't care what.
Van acids for Pete's schedule.
I think Adam's asking in chat if we've got anybody else coming on. We are going to have more people on for the post show. Promise you that. But before we get to that, a couple other highlights because Rob put in a lot of work into rounding up some stats on ParksCenter, and I just wanted to share a couple of the neater ones with you folks. For those who don't know, we started out, we had a few episode zeros during March Madness about 2 years ago, I believe, where we were essentially their post show. After they had the bracket, we would like yell at them for making all the wrong decisions. So us calling Tom the Devil is in our DNA from day one. So it then evolved. We were birthed. Yeah, the original concept of this then evolved into this show isn't going to run longer than 30 minutes because we had the podcast, and the podcast would go for hours and hours and hours. We wanted something that was more compact and digestible. We've gone a little lax on that 30-minute mark, but we try and not push past 45 if we can help it.
Pete.
It happens.
Listen, it happens, like Ben said.
It does.
You know?
It's fine.
We're having fun out here.
Let's see, the biggest stats I really wanted to share is that we've had 93 episodes with all 5 panelists on it, myself and 4 other guests. But sometimes something would come up and we'd be one person short, which happened exactly 7.
7?
Yeah, 7 times in our entire history.
So it can never happen again.
Yep. And then over the past 99 episodes, we've put out over 60 hours worth of content at this point. So if you've been watching that long, congratulations and thanks to you for that. And we sure look forward to putting out another 60 hours at least. So we will see you all for the next 100. That is going to do it for this week's main show. What was that?
We're not stopping until Allison has 9 kids. We want.
Oh gosh. No pressure.
Nope.
I hope there's at least twins in there somewhere.
All right, folks. Well, thank you all for joining us. And a big shout out to, like we mentioned earlier, our WIGs, our WDWNT Interglobe subscriber members. Interglobe Society, I guess I should say. I should pronounce things correctly. If you're not a member yet, you can head on over to patreon.com/WDWNT. For as little as $2 a month, you can support this show, all the other shows that we put out there, and get access to our post shows, the post shows for News Tonight, and a whole host of other benefits. You can also help the show out by super chatting like Pat just did for $49.99. Big thank you. Oh my gosh, I love this. Thank you, folks. Y'all, I love y'all out there. Y'all the best. Oh gosh, I lost where I was in my spiel.
We're We're just
Thank
too
you,
for
Wiggs.
clubs. We can't even think straight.
We are doing a public post show. Big thank you to everybody out there. We're going to be hanging out after the stream for you folks. I'm going to leave it in there for everybody else who comes afterwards too, so you can see what our post shows are like. But stay tuned, and we will be right back. Otherwise, we will see you all next week.
100!
Thank you, everybody.
100.
Where's little Ben?
100 episodes.
There's little Ben.
Oh, there he is.
We got something a little better for you folks to watch too while we clean up tonight.
Let's jump into this studio stuff.
Very, very bizarre job I had, you know, trying to explain to my wife sometimes when I came home what I was doing at work.
And only had 6 months to prepare.
That's like the same as now.
The tubes.
Let's get this post show rolling, folks. Thank you all for joining us. We've got the YouTube chat up since this is going to be a public post show, and I think we need. This is a big moment. We need bigger people, wide screen. No, not that. No. Let's get a lot more people in here. Hey!
Now it's a party.
So we have up top here we've got Ashley.
Hi.
We've got Nathan Hartman.
Oh, greetings from the Sunshine State, everybody.
And
There
Tyler
it is.
Mann.
Sivako 2, the sequel.
And for down there, we've got space for one more. I don't know if anybody's going to join us or not. It's going to be. I mean this genuinely. If somebody shows up, it is a surprise to me. I don't know who would be coming. This isn't a bit. So it is distinctly possible nobody shows up there. So fair warning. So thank you all for coming and hanging out. This is the part of the show where we take a look at the chat with you folks about pretty much anything and anything that you want to bring up. So let's see what there was a few things going on in here. Let's see. We are. Oh gosh, my chat fell behind. That's the problem. Not the one on stream, but my personal one.
Mandy says Ashley has a strong fan base. I will say people said that they were worried about beer and alcohol running out of Disney. That's not going to happen, so don't worry about that.
I don't care where they're going to have to go, but they'll find it.
Yeah. Also, Disney gets their beer almost at cost. So, like, even if they had to pay just above cost, people would throw alcohol at Disney. What else is in the chat? It's nice to have all you guys, and thanks for the nice video, Nathan, as well. That was very nice. And Tyler and Ashley are back. Like, it's like a little family reunion here.
This is our extended family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great to be back. It's great to talk.
Definitely is.
So let's kick off with this one. Do you think Disney's going to honor hotel rates for moving 2020 trips to 2021, or are they going to muck with rates either up or down? Nope.
I think rates are going to be all
It's their 50th anniversary.
They're already
You think they're gonna be like,
raising
"You're
food
coming on
prices while they're closed. I mean, come
Yeah, oh my
on.
gosh. That was...
Allison, you look like you have lawyer speak, but you're also muted. So
Oh,
that's
no.
a problem.
Oh no!
I'm muted. Okay. So, yeah, it's not lawyer speak. It's just like the one place they do offer discounts to get people in is the resorts. That's what they've been doing consistently. It's what they did after 9/11. This is going to be a bigger version of that. So I actually think you might see a lower rate for 2021 than you'll see this year. So like, I wouldn't worry so much about whether they're going to honor it, because I think you're going to see something a little bit better.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
we'll see if
fair.
they decide. We'll see if they decide to. I'm curious how many people are going to like not come that had plans already. My guess is
My family.
Yeah, I mean, there's some. There's certainly some.
Anybody who travels with older people or people who travel with conditions. Like my dad is not leaving his house until there is a vaccine or cure.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
People
It's not safe for him. And
Yeah.
so many of us
The same thing
travel
is that
intergenerationally.
If there's no vaccine, people aren't going to. You're going to lose a big chunk of people. Like Allison's dad and other people put in our chat today during the show when we brought it up that hey, we would love to come, but we're not coming until there's a vaccine. So that's going to be a large percentage of the population. So I really don't think it's going to be that crowded. And also, I wouldn't be surprised, going back to the original question, if you didn't come in 2020 for your vacation. Disney was like, we'd honor it in 2022. Like that 2021, I could see them being like,
I think
no.
so much of this depends on how things go. I mean, there are so many, like a month ago, we wouldn't have expected, a month ago we were talking about, hey, let's all go to Florida for the ParksCenter 100th show. And
that was going to be a thing.
Studio.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to be a thing.
I showed up and nobody else did.
So, I mean, there's so little we know.
Yeah.
Well,
like I had plane tickets. I would have been there right now. There's so many, there's so many things that we cannot predict. And, they're talking about a vaccine and maybe they'll have something, not by the fall, but they might have something that they can start really testing by the fall and maybe it'll be ready early next year and maybe it won't. Like, who knows? There's so many unknowns. Like Disney's not going to make any promises, I think, that lead to them losing money if they don't have to. They're just going to keep silent on it and they're going to they're going to give people discounts when they feel like they have to, and when they feel like they can stop, they're going to probably stop. I think that's just how it's going to go.
Yeah. Well, and we had talked about it on Pressing Issues, but I think it's going to be very bizarre, but you're not probably going to see a whole lot of kids when they first reopen.
Hi, Tom!
Hi, Tom!
I assume I have everything on. Is this work?
We can see and hear
the
it.
show from this room, and it's also a disaster behind me. In the middle of I've been cleaning in the midst of this. What are you trying to show me?
What are you showing there?
I just texted you, Tom, too.
Oh gosh, he texted it again.
I'm in that last square.
Oh, I was heavily requested. I also felt like I needed to show that I was more alive than I looked in that video tonight, because it looked like I was the most defeated I've ever looked in my life.
Tom Corliss, the Kim Jong-il of WDW.
I mean, he might have better hair than me now at this point.
Oh gosh. Oh, let's see what else has been going on in chat. I saw a couple questions up there. Let me scroll.
Someone wrote, stop bad-mouthing Tom.
No.
Leave it for Twitter like everyone else.
Get it.
Is it your mom?
With love.
That's how you know I like Tom. I don't badmouth him on Twitter.
Yeah.
No. Just
right.
Private channels.
Family
Very
does.
public forums.
Like family does, yeah.
Yep.
Oh. All right, that's a good one. Do we think that Epcot's going to have a delayed opening because of the lack of international cast members, or are they just going to kind of open without it?
Like, I think there's still plenty of people here to start the initial opening. They don't need a full cast for what's going to happen when these parks reopen, in my opinion. And again, now that we have Tom, he's going to say everything I say is wrong. So we'll say this now, and then we'll hear what actually will happen in 6 seconds.
I wish there was a live feed of me during ParksCenter, because it's usually just, what is Pete talking about that's not real? And then, but Rob will usually come in and be like, nah, Pete, they ain't opening June 1st. What are you talking about?
I have theories. I said they weren't true.
Rob will give what's actually going to happen, then Allison will give the legal on it, and then Jill will just roll her eyes at Pete, and that'll be the segment.
But we lasted 100 episodes doing that,
right?
and it works.
Morocco's hiring, right? So there's some momentum.
That's true.
I don't think
maybe.
I think some of them will.
And I don't think Epcot's at the top of that list, because I don't think festivals are possible.
Yeah.
No.
And if food and wine's not going to happen, then they're not going to bother with Epcot.
I can't imagine food and wine not happening. Like, I mean, it's a possibility for sure, but it doesn't seem.
I think the parks are back, but you're not getting a Halloween party. You're not.
Oh no.
Well, you just can't have those.
I
But
think
I
we're
think
getting
everyone will be just so happy to have something fun to go out and do that it won't.
You think that they would open just Future World and not open International?
What are you going to
Pavilion?
open? A semicircle? I mean, I don't.
Well, I mean, I would think
what's
nothing
left
else
of
to give,
Future World? What are you going to do?
to give people a chance to say goodbye to Spaceship Earth. I would hope.
Can't
Maybe
do
that's just a
mission
selfish
There's
desire.
no way you can run mission space.
Nah.
Because they're these
True.
sealed pods. The amount of disinfecting you'd have to do would be
Living with the
insane.
lands out.
They'll open up.
Why can't
mission
you do
space.
living with
It'll
the
be
land? That's like one of the
You're
few
right behind
things-
somebody. That's not.
No, you
unless
every other row.
Every row. Families only per row.
Yeah, if they
Just
stagger.
like living with the land all the time.
They're going to
you'll get
have
a
to
party
stagger
yourself.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Every ride is going to be
Soarin's easy 'cause
staggered.
you
Every
just have
ride
to
where
wipe,
there's
like,
two rides.
Soren, you just got to wipe the little handrails on the side. There's not that many of
Yeah,
them.
and you just put a seat between you and the person next to you. There's enough wind that it's going to keep
couple of
everything
seats.
separate.
Yeah, I mean, they're
But
big
when you're
theaters.
loading Soren, a kid could just turn around and start licking the seat. Like, Greek
yeah.
you could get anywhere.
It's
your
just lick
job
stuff.
parent, though. I mean,
If there's a surface in Walt
doesn't have,
Disney
like,
World, a
germs.
child has probably licked it recently. That's, I
Yeah.
think, just
there's not gonna be, like,
a rule you
germ
should go
czar
by.
Right.
Following your family,
Which is
around,
weird because the parks are closed.
You know.
And we sort of know now that it's not a ingestible via this way. It's the nose.
It's the
more than
air,
it's
yeah.
the mouth. So you can lick whatever you want at Disney now, and that's not going to get.
Oh,
you-
Please don't. No, this is not
That'll
advice.
actually be a new-
We
it's a
don't
new event,
endorse.
I believe.
Whatever. Are we still
No,
in
you
Disney or is
can't
this
lick
OBT?
People at Jelly Rolls. No.
No.
Can
Not
I
my
make a
style.
ridiculous assumption. Oh
Yes.
my god! I'm going to make a ridiculous assumption about what Disney's going to do. They're going to be like, "Hey, so if you want to come into the park for the day, $400 per person. No, like we'll stagger people in every 30 minutes, and you can
That's
get
the
to ride
current
each
price,
ride
though.
in odor." Sorry, $1,000 per person.
Yeah.
Like limiting the amount of people, but like also upcharging it because like there won't be anyone in the park, and you'll just get to walk to whatever ride you want.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll upcharge. They can't. But I do think that there's a thought that the thing about Epcot is you could sort of tier in who gets to go to World Showcase and who gets to like. That is an area where you could sort of
If you've
separate
been
out.
good, you get to go to Future World, and if you've been naughty, you get to go to World Showcase.
See you at the World Showcase.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we'll all be there.
Yeah, I think if you go to
That's a
World
bunch of
Showcase, you
overrated-
act naughty. That's the problem. That's
the WDWNT side.
That's
of the
where you
party in
lick
general.
everything, yeah.
I want to backpedal for a second to a statement Tom made about there not being Halloween parties. I think that's exactly like going off what Tyler said. That's going to be like the private ticketed events is already something where they were limiting park capacity in the first place. I don't see why they can't do events
Limiting
like
park
that.
capacity, because what they now consider limited park capacity for a Halloween party or Christmas party, the max sellout numbers are probably still
too
too
low.
high. Like, think about.
Oh, yeah?
No,
Yeah.
but think about if you've been to a sold out Halloween or Christmas party in the last couple of years. Even if you take away the fireworks and the parade, I still feel like there are moments at those parties where I feel like people are on top of me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Those are
Not
sellouts,
like
though.
30,000
Those are
people.
sellouts.
The Magic Kingdom does not have the capacity of Shanghai. The Shanghai park was built in 2016. There are giant pathways. There are really large areas because you've had the benefit of 50 years of development to understand how your parks grow and that you should plan for that from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The Magic Kingdom is not designed for that. You're lucky if that park can do 15 to 20,000 people with social distancing. And therefore, you can't do a party unless you're going to charge $500 a person and it's going to be like people allowed in to see a Halloween party. Like
Was that a
only
Shanghai
option.
compliment? in there a
And
little
just-
bit. Wow.
Maybe a little.
Thanks, Shanghai.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit?
Oh, yeah. Oh, in 50 years, the one thing they learned to do was build wide pathways. What an accomplishment. They have to be wide anyway, so you can get around the pea puddles. So that's really why. That's why they did it.
I wish you were kidding.
You knew it was too good to last.
Oh, Tom.
Come on, where are the
I
kids
did
going to
take
play?
photos yesterday, and one of them is of a pea puddle. I photographed
Oh my
the pea
God.
puddle. Anyway.
But I do think you're right, Tom. And thinking about it even more, like people are probably, even though, it's not necessarily spread through contact, people are going to be turned off at the idea of trick or treating and having, all these
Candy
random
people
people
candy.
touch candy. Yeah.
Ew, yeah.
So
If
that's
you
another
can't do
reason.
parades, and you can't do
you can't do the
and
fireworks
you can't hand out candy.
or trick or treating.
Yeah.
What's the point?
What's the point? Riding Space Mountain in the dark? Yeah,
Close your eyes.
the Halloween party I went to last year was sold out, and it was pretty mobbed. I mean, we waited, a good 10 minutes in line at Pecos Bill's to get one of the Haunted Mansion sipper from the Haunted Mansion set. Like, that's how crowded it was, that there was a 10-minute line at Pecos Bill's.
Yeah.
Wow.
For me, it feels like Animal Kingdom would be where I'd want to be if I have to social distance. There feels like enough space there
Agreed.
to do that well.
Yeah.
Epcot too, but there's just less to do. Like you could just
Epcot's
go
for the
to-
construction, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Now
The-
with the bottlenecks, you can.
Yeah, you could close everything at Animal Kingdom besides the zoo portions, the walking, and you still have something that you can do. And for
Even the
an EP at
walking
least-
areas, you could probably space out. I mean, I said the same thing as that. I said personally, the first park I'm going to go back to is the Animal Kingdom if they all open at the same time. And I said,
I think the
that's-
problem they ran into was finding out that animals can get it. I think Animal Kingdom and Magic
that's
Kingdom were in
fair.
line to be the first two. I think those are going to be the first two to open, and now I think in order to keep their accreditation, there's a lot more research and things that will have to be done to open zoos and aquariums and things of that sort. And so I don't think you're opening an animal park at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
There's
I can
quite a
respect
few
that. I don't want the
exhibits-
animals to get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
there's
also
quite a few
plenty
exhibits
behind
I think
glass.
that are, that like tigers are far enough away. But I mean, and the thing is the people that are the I guess zoologists, they're already there.
You would
They're
think
already- they have
tigers
to
are
be,
far enough
so-
away, but the tigers at the Bronx Zoo have coronavirus.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
think
because the
that-
keeper.
tigers were one of the first
keeper-
animals that got it.
That wasn't
They might have
guests
been the
coming
keepers,
up
but
and
we
petting
don't-
them. That
we
was the
don't know
keeper.
that for sure. Is that
Because they didn't
for sure
have
in the
guests in the
news?
park, Tom. There was no one going up and
I
petting
mean, they
tiger
were
cubs.
guests before they knew it was so bad. I mean, remember, we don't know
Pete
how
is
many people
very
were
mad
asymptomatic
about
and going around. Like, that's-
Yeah.
It could
Yeah,
have a longer
and I mean-
incubation period in tigers.
Yeah, that's a very good point too. That's a very.
There's a
good
lot we
Yeah.
just don't know how it affects animals. So I think zoos
I-
are going to be very protective.
I think
Tiger
you
song,
like you just
yeah.
open Primeval Whirl and everything else is closed.
Pandora.
It's a
Come
big day.
on.
Please
Back and
stop.
I mean, I guess
So
you don't
what?
want to
You
pass
can.
that to like. Gosh, that would be.
I
Like
mean,
something historic.
I'd be the
Does
only
it
one on it.
transfer
I'll just
from
ride
vomit?
River
Did we
Journey
figure
over
that
and
out
over
yet?
again. I'm fine with that.
That's fine with me.
Can you get it from vomit?
That's the problem with
Did we figure
Mission.
that out?
That's the problem with Mission Space.
Oh.
Oh, that.
Are we all
Oh.
going into
And
Expo
Mickey
Lagoon
and
the
Minnie's
wave
Runaway
pool?
Railway, right?
The Mission Space problem is there's a screen that's like right here. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah.
Then you're
good.
breathing on the whole ride.
And,
that it's
and
coming
people
from.
vomit on it,
Yeah.
and it comes back.
No, they're going to have to
Everyone's
saran
gonna
wrap the
have,
screens
like,
and pull it off every time. That's going to be
NASCAR.
disgusting. What about the water parks? Let's talk water parks.
Ew.
I don't know
no.
where
Oh
that's
my
the water
God.
park.
Not a
Oh
chance.
my god.
No.
Last
No.
thing to open next year. Water parks
Yeah.
are next year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no doubt.
Oh. God.
That's like a whole
He's
year.
No
not
one
going to be
wants to be
disappointed.
in
He
the
wanted to
wave
go to
pool
H2O
and-
Glow Night.
I'm
Oh,
going
yeah.
to the first
Floorball.
H2O Glow Night. Let's go.
Super fun.
Yeah.
But
May-
I
maybe
still want to
said
be in a
chat.
wave pool in the dark with a dirty Band-Aid floating on by right now. It's just-
Oh.
I mean, you don't want that
New
anytime. but-
Band-Aid.
no. No, but now,
shade.
whoa.
I miss when I wasn't afraid of Band-Aids at water park.
Yeah, when was that?
You should have always
you
been
just
afraid.
have to live
Tom.
with these things. If you go to theme parks for a living, there are things to live with. It's people's children touching you, for no reason, and kids licking the handrail, and a Band-Aid in the wave pool. And these are just job hazards. It's like my father, 25 years driving the bus. People start pulling guns. He starts going, "You still gotta pay."
We need OSHA regulations for being a theme park
Oh
vlogger.
my
Like, all right, whatever.
Oh,
I'd love to
I'm
meet
willing
these
to
kids
make-
who are like,
I'm willing to make
I want to
two
touch them.
I will make 2 bets on the air for a $10 Disney gift card each with Tom. Is that we will see at least one Halloween party, and we will at least see the Food and Wine
Disney
Festival
gift cards
happen
are
for
discontinued currently, so we can't.
I have an open cart on Shop Disney that says otherwise. It's pending,
but
it says.
Oh yeah, Shop Disney's reliable.
You know what? I went on way after, and I got my Big Owl. Not a problem today. Don't know how.
I was joking. I would never go to shopdisney.com ever.
I already have anxiety for the mini release after watching everybody on May the 4th.
Yeah.
Just
I have so much anxiety. Yeah. I'm gonna try. I'm having a mimosa that morning, but I'm gonna try.
Pete, do you mean it has to be exactly the same festival or just name only? Like, if it was like 2 booths, but they called it Food and Wine, one was food, one was wine.
If they're saying they're having the International Food and Wine Festival, and it's just one guy peddling snacks, I don't care. But it has to be called the International Food and Wine Festival, and I believe that it will happen at some point.
I'm not counting it if it's just the Odyssey Open selling 3 flavors of popcorn.
Oh my god!
I knew I'd find a way out. I knew you'd
They've
find
got
a
to
way
have
out.
the festival in some capacity so they can sell the merchandise, because they've probably already made and ordered the merchandise.
Can I just tell everybody
planned
there's
this?
an
Don't
ongoing
give them. I'm
bet?
trying to get some money from Tom here.
Jessica and I already have a bet that the second that they announce Walt Disney World is reopening, we know what the first question from people on the internet's going to be. Do you know what the first question is going to be from everyone on the internet once they announce the reopening? How
will Tom say?
Are you going to give out the orange bird magnet?
Oh my gosh!
Can I get both?
It's the first
Can
thing
I get
everyone's
both?
going to ask.
I had completely forgotten, but you're 100% right. I will
I'm
not
sort
be
of crushed
surprised.
now because I forgot too. I want my orange
They should have
bird
mailed
back.
those out.
I
though.
know.
They should have mailed them
I
out
was
to
gonna
everybody.
steal my
because-
mother.
And pull it out. Like, oh, there it is.
They
Oh,
can't
thank
mail
you.
them, Rob. Everyone's furloughed. The
Hey,
whole
can
mailing
I say-
department is
Can I say though?
They also
you're
bank on
worried
people
about
not showing up.
Allison
Let
was
Rob
worried about
talk.
all the people that reach out to that are touching Tom in the parks. I have this picture of Tom doing basically meet and greets.
Oh, that's right.
I forgot
People
about that.
love Tom. People love
What is
Tom
going
Corliss in the
on?
park.
This is so hilarious.
You know, Rob. That's sort of a caveat. You have to say people love Tom in the parks on a like fan day. Generalized, I don't know that always counts, but
It's so funny.
fan
Like
day.
you walk and people are like, "Is that Tom Corliss?" Like you hear them whispering as you walk.
And then
past.
cast members throw down
Sometimes
marbles
they're
in front of
very
them.
loud and they don't realize that like I can hear them like
Yeah.
I'm a human being. Like I was walking at the California Food and Wine Festival, walking past a booth, and someone's like, "I think that's Tom Corliss," and I go, "Yeah, it is." They just laugh.
What did they do?
They just laughed back. It was funny.
That's great.
There's a lot.
Oh, I had that happen once in the line for Rise of the Resistance. I had someone come up to me and just be like, "I know you from the internet," and they couldn't say what.
That could be a little disturbing.
And I'm like,
I
"Yes,
hope it's
you
from
do.
ParksCenter.
Can you tell me where?"
People are like, we recognize this glowing big red face. We just got to figure out where we can put it.
See, this one girl on here is like she's nervous
Oh my
to go up and talk to Tom.
It's like he just got into the park.
But she's got
this
her
old
camera
hat
phone
and
out.
glasses on.
But she got her camera phone out. And she's getting ready to get up and get her nerve to go
She's
get
there.
a picture
She's
taken.
there
with
for the
Was
Roger
that-
Rabbit magnet. I can tell.
I was gonna say, wasn't
got her
that we were
phone out.
giving out the
She got her phone
magnets?
I remember
But most
that.
people
we're
who
giving
took a magnet also wanted a picture.
They did.
In fairness.
Yeah, they did.
He's dressed like every guy in the back of a Kino hall. That's a great picture.
That's my MGM day outfit.
I know, it was a great outfit. I
Wearing
loved
my
it.
old hat.
You look like a cast member. You look like a citizen of MGM or something.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like a cast member from years
You
past.
just
that's
I
back
see
in the
the
day.
gears. I see the gears in Nathan's head turn already. As soon as
Mine
he's
too.
a citizen of MGM.
What if
Go
we
for
did
it.
Streetmosphere?
I mean, Pete's already Streetmosphere.
I mean, yeah, we just
Most people, he's so
Citizens of
louder than
WWNG.
everyone else.
Yes.
They just assume they're like, oh, he's one of those walk-around characters, Bob.
Barsmosphere. He's
He must be.
Barsmosphere.
He's just louder. He's projecting. He must be entertaining.
I love going to the
I
park
don't
with
know
Pete.
what you're talking
That's my
about.
favorite thing.
Oh.
It's a shame we can't furlough you, Pete.
Aw.
No, don't worry. He just
Where'd
dropped
he
his
go?
beer. It's fine.
Pete has had 3 tequila and is
He's
now
gonna come
floored.
back with no shirt on now.
Cinco.
Does Pete have a map of Long Island behind him? Is that what
He
that
does.
is?
He does, and don't
Is
you
it?
dare hate on that.
Oh, that is.
Oh no!
He took it.
Oh, my
I knew
Not
it.
again.
Can we clarify?
Dude.
I forgot. There was a park center that Pete didn't have a shirt on, right?
No, it was always the ongoing gag. It was that, like, Pete, keep your shirt on. But it never actually happened. And then the whole Wax Pete thing happened.
Until now.
Something
If-
happened. Someone texted me like the next day after Park Center's like, Pete took off his shirt on Park Center. I was like, what are you talking about? He took his shirt off on Park
I don't
Center.
think-
No, he took his shirt off.
This
and
is-
I think it
this
was,
is-
I think it was during the pre-show.
Didn't he?
Pete, you
Right.
gotta not. Oh, that's right. You didn't have a shirt on in the pre-show. That's right.
This
Right,
is
but
the
that, it,
worst.
was, it didn't make it to air though.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pete is
This
often
is the worst
changing his shirt
OnlyFans I've
before
ever
the
seen.
show.
It's the
Right,
worst.
which, like, I mean, that's fine. If
I
you
know
want to
we
change it,
were-
I don't care.
We were 2
His
minutes
t-shirt
to air
game is
for
on point.
News Tonight last week.
Thank
And
you.
he's changing the whole gangster outfit.
I'm missing my bow tie because it's at the office. It's at the studio.
Chippendales is dry cleaning it for you.
We should do a Ganondola ad with him in this outfit here. Just the
This is the new Ganondola outfit. Because, you know,
They're-
the
they're-
whole
they're
gun-
getting out of work.
shirt off your back.
Are you losing your shirt during coronavirus?
Were you stuck behind
Disney-
Pete in a
Disney sure
line?
is.
I had to put a
Are
shirt
you
on.
somehow going out for Cinco de Mayo in the middle of a pandemic?
That's true.
Pete, the less I know about that situation,
Wait.
probably the better.
Where is he going?
Oh, that's true.
He's going into his basement to change
Nathan's
again.
like,
Hell.
that makes sense.
It's fine.
I'm amazed
I
that
like this
100
idea of
episodes
not
of
asking Pete what he's been up
Pizza.
to. That seems like a good
Pete,
anxiety.
There's
thing for
always
me.
a throwaway line on Park Center. Pete will say something, and it goes by quick, and no one talks about it. But I'm sitting there like, wait a second. Businesses are reopened during normal hours. Where are you going on Cinco de Mayo? Like, what?
He
Oh,
was
it was a
drinking
great
in the
time last
parking
There's
night.
lot with
always
Eric
some.
Gordon.
It was a great time last
Where
night.
did you go?
I actually, so last night I went out for dinner with, so I saw 2 different staff members last night. Last night, me, Lauren, went out with Eric Morton from Locked In with Eric Morton and his girlfriend, Lee. So we all went out for Mexican food. I
What do you mean we went
found
out
a
for
space.
Mexican food?
I found a place with outdoor seating that had 6 feet between tables and a live mariachi band, which is my qualification.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good
so
for
we went down to
you.
Celebration. We went down to Celebration. We had outdoor seating with 6 feet between
Celebration.
tables and live mariachi
It's
band.
okay
So we had
because
a
the
great
people
time.
in Celebration are the only people who have the vaccine. So it's
Yeah, and keep that on the down low. And then I got home, and then I got a text from a guy in my development that says, "Hey, you know Sean Kloss, which is our social media guy," and he said we're all hanging out.
don't
drinking
tell
by
me
the
you
pool.
bumped
So
into Sean again. Oh
So
my
me and Sean hung out by my pool last night, and then we drank. We had some claws, and we hung out until like 1:30 in the morning. It was a good time.
The last
Leave it to
night
Pete,
at
too.
Jelly
Walmart
Rolls,
today.
we ended up
I
bumping
saw
into
2
Sean
staff
at
members
Jelly
last night.
Rolls. I'm like, oh, people I work with are here. That they probably are uncomfortable that their boss is here at this bar.
Leave it to
I
Pete to
have
find
not
the
been
only
inside
speakeasy
another
in
building.
coronavirus.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Allison,
I've
what?
not been inside another building aside from my own home since March 13th. And Pete's like, I went out for Cinco de Mayo, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
I didn't
would
go in
just
a
love to
building.
see, like,
I went into a
the
open
inside of a
courtyard.
grocery store.
I know Pete's like, I need to get out. Pete has been out more since this pandemic started than most people were before.
True.
I think if you took an over-under from
I
her
didn't
dad,
read the full story, but I saw a garage was open, so I drove to the garage.
I think poll of like who on staff is most likely to get coronavirus. I think
Not me.
everyone
Gotta
would
get
say
out.
Pete because Pete can't sit home.
I have, and I've
No.
been driving myself crazy at home, but also I have the strongest immune system on staff, so it's
Yeah,
gonna
you
be...
also don't understand the sheer amount of luck that Pete Carney possesses.
Liver.
It's
different.
Nathan.
It's building. I see it. Here it comes.
That's all the time we have.
Liver is
The
not
show
an
is
immune
ending.
system.
Oh.
That's all the time we have. Thank you for watching. 100 episodes. Wow.
This is not Pete Center. You don't get to end the show. It ends when I say it ends. Nathan,
Go get
speak
him,
your
Ben.
piece.
Get him, Ben.
I have nothing else. I have nothing else to say except there's a difference between an immune system and a liver, and he's got a liver of steel. Sure.
Oh,
If coronavirus goes after his liver, it's going to be pickled. But
I'm not a biology major. I'm just saying.
Clearly.
I'm no scientist.
I'm super safe. I wear the mask and the gloves. I follow the rules of Florida. You're gonna let me eat outside at a restaurant?
God.
I'm gonna eat outside.
You will die if
There's
you follow
nothing
the rules
wrong
of
with
Florida.
that. I haven't actually seen restaurants open. I mean, I've been driving
Yeah.
up and down I Drive because I go to the studio, but I haven't seen anybody actually get the go-ahead to open their outdoor seating yet. The people downstairs, the Merguez restaurant, they've set up their tables, but they're not serving yet. So I don't know.
They're
A
coming
lot of
back
people are
slow.
just still in that like holding pattern at this
I
point.
just don't want to eat and feel like I'm in a Mexican standoff with everybody because that's what it feels like when you're out. You're
Yeah,
just like,
It was Cinco de Mayo. That's exactly what I was looking for.
I was about to say that they'll go to a Mexican restaurant, but Pete's joke's better.
yeah.
Gosh.
When are we doing this as a show? Just this.
Oh gosh, the Brady
This
Bunch.
is-
Our staff meeting?
Shaming Pete live Tuesdays at 9.
Pity
would
with
watch.
Pete.
Wow.
Pity
Shaming
Yeah.
Pete sounds like a bad sitcom.
I watch Shame
Oh.
Shame Center. Rob, get on that quick before the show ends.
This is Shame Center.
It's gonna happen.
That'll be a Wigs exclusive graphic.
I gotta ask Pete about his shirt while we're shaming Pete.
Oh no.
Pete, do you know
What
the
is this?
significance of your shirt?
I
What, The Little
love
Mermaid,
it.
1989, the year the movie came out.
Oh.
Do you know the
know what
rest
that's
of
a-
the
significance
significance of the
spoof of?
shirt?
It's
I'm sorry. Say it again.
It's Taylor Swift's album cover.
It's a Taylor Swift album cover, yeah.
You're wearing
No,
a
it's
Taylor
not.
Swift shirt.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Three shirtless
no.
Pete.
This is what happens when you get. This is what happens when you have a liver of steel and you go on TeePublic. You don't know what you're buying.
This is what Pete does when he goes outside. Pete doesn't have a mask. He
I
just
used
takes
to
his
work in
shirt off.
Brooklyn. I thought it was hipster Ariel.
I don't really like
Why all the
WWE
hatred on
today.
Taylor
Taylor
Swift?
Swift
I don't
shirt.
understand.
Oh, I like Taylor Swift. I just knew he didn't know that.
Why does Pete hate her?
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
I have no problem with Taylor
He's a
Swift.
DJ.
I just think
Pete's
she's a
a
bit
man.
complainy and
And
whiny.
men don't like Taylor Swift.
No, I play her
Oh.
music. I shake it off. I have a great time with Taylor. But she's just a little whiny for me. I'm just saying, everyone has their own taste.
But he said you could white balance off his chest. Oh man! No, it's the best joke.
All these presets, I love it.
I mean, you got to be prepared, right? Like, you never know when it's going to come up.
Gotta be prepared.
Steal all my Thursday jokes.
Darn straight.
We haven't had a Chapek reference yet, have we?
No, not yet.
No.
And that's not going to
give
get
time.
it.
I
Someone make a
tried.
joke.
I tried.
Are there any other questions? I feel like we have
We have been
Yeah,
neglecting the
that
chat,
was
but the
about
chat's
our
been
topic.
dying from what I've been
The
seeing.
chat just wants to hear a shame Pete. They're fine.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Oh, God.
He's a good sport, ladies and gentlemen. He's a good
I
sport.
already gave Pete the sexy.
It's true.
You just said I already gave Pete the sex, and then you
the sexy music.
Thank you.
No.
Finish the
Sorry.
Please.
This is why we can only have 5 people on this show at once.
Yeah,
barely. You guys barely can have 5 people sometimes, so yeah.
Oh, this is the unofficial roast of Pete now.
If you get rid of Pete and Nathan, you can have 12.
Yeah. I'm not
fair.
that.
That's fair.
I wait for my turn. I feel
and
like
I interrupt Nathan. So I mean, that's what
what's the line from Clue? Flames
on the side of my face.
Heaving breath.
What are you referencing?
Oh, it's a movie.
The
Pete, don't worry
greatest
about
movie
it.
of all time.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Another reference you don't get.
That's your homework, Pete.
Go on
You need
Amazon
to watch
Prime
that.
right now and watch Clue.
I'm teasing. I watched Clue in November of this year, I think.
Did you?
Yeah, November. Yeah.
November
of this year?
How
did it end?
May.
2019. I watched it a few months. No, Lauren was really
Welcome to
upset
Clue
because she
Center.
made a Clue reference. I didn't get it, and she thought I was kidding. And I
Someone
never
asked
saw
him how it ends.
They want to verify.
I mean, that's a good.
Who did it, Pete? Who did it, Pete?
Yeah.
That was the movie with what's his face? He's got the accent as the butler, and there's
Tim
the
Curry.
like.
He definitely just saw
Guys, it takes him a lot to do this, so please silence. Let him figure this out.
Yeah, I want to
Continue.
hear
I
this.
have a problem with this.
There was the woman who was able to feed a family. There was the butler with the accent. There was wasn't the guy who owned the house the guy who did it or set it all up?
Okay,
was,
hang
like,
on.
in that room?
This
He definitely is talking about Knives Out.
He is talking
It
about
is Knives Out. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
he's talking
Knives
about-
That's right.
That's our new game show. He starts describing a movie.
Jill's right,
whoever
it's a game.
wins.
You
I
ask
was
me to
gonna
explain
say-
a movie, he starts explaining it, and then you figure out what movie did he actually watch.
The butler
Christopher
with the
Plummer was
accent
great.
implies
Brilliant
that
game
Tim
writers.
Curry
This is totally
is not
low
already
effort.
British.
Yeah.
I knew it was Knives Out the second he started talking. The lady who could feed her
What is he
family.
talking about?
I
There's
don't
a
even
woman
want
who
to
can
tell
feed
you
her
how I
family.
figured that out, but
Do you mean the main character, the butler with the accent?
Butler with the accent.
Who are you talking? Who's that in Knives Out?
I'm Butler, James.
The
Butler.
main lady.
He's talking about the detective. It's a detective, not a butler.
But Tim Curry, of course, plays the butler in Clue.
Yes.
Who has an accent?
You guys
He's
are
British.
like Clue. He hasn't seen like Back to the Future.
I've never seen Back to the Future.
Right.
Never saw that either.
That's
Those
what we do
movies.
sometimes.
I'm also
No
sad that Tim
offense to
Curry's not in
Clue,
Knives
but
Out.
there's Clue, and then there's movies every human
Yeah.
being
Yeah,
should
yeah.
have seen at this point in their life.
Yeah,
I've seen Cool Runnings.
That's fair.
that's fair.
Seen Cool
The
Runnings.
lady
like
with
when-
the food.
Did you see Cool Runnings, or was it that Harrison Ford movie?
No, that's
Wild
when
in the Wild. What did you see?
Cool Runnings is
Cool
the movie
Runnings,
where
man?
It was actually Homeward Bound. Pete has no
Oh wait,
idea.
that's not Harrison Ford.
Tom, I feel like you're getting
gotta
into
go over a
dangerous
mountain,
territory
and then
here.
he ends up in the backyard of the family. Really nice.
Yes.
No, I've seen
John
Cool Runnings.
Candy
Cool Runnings
with
was like
blocks.
10 times. Yes.
And
That's when
Allison
John Candy gets
actually
the
has
No, that-
something to say.
That's Honey, I
Cool
Shrunk.
Runnings.
Who
John Candy gets
remembers,
the back
like-
of the U-Haul, and he has the polka band.
Oh my God.
That's Home
That's
Alone.
Home Alone.
That's Home Alone 2. Or 1.
No, it's the first one.
Oh,
Okay.
That's one.
Does anyone
See,
remember
now
like
they're all
2 years
blue
ago
after a few
when
White Claws.
When Pete 2
I'll
years ago
suggest.
called the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror like the X-Files Tower of
Oh,
Terror.
that was so
Yes.
I'll still put that
Yeah,
down.
I think that
I got a comment on my YouTube.
That's an
wall
overlay
that
I can
said,
get behind.
You know the way you know the way we edited
That-
the pickle video? We need to do
Yes.
that for that as well.
Yes, please
Just
do.
cut to
Please.
everyone's
Pico.
The Pete Cole incident.
He says, I've never seen X-Files, and Nathan goes, oh my god.
Oh, my! We got another super chat. Oh my gosh! Thank you, Kenny.
Oh, thank
$15
you.
for Pete's non-Tay-Tay T-shirt fund.
Thank you. I expect that. That's a new shirt. $15 on TeePublic.
Oh, and that
Or
donation
Matt.
has unlocked a new graphic.
You could buy.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh man!
Oh no!
For $15, you could buy a new WDWNT designed mask on TeePublic.
Oh yeah, that's a thing now. Those are cool.
Graphic design.
No
team.
refunds though.
I love
I've only
those. I
sold
can't
a
wait
few
to get
hundred so far, so
Yeah, I want one.
Because that's all they have.
Very popular.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's very funny.
Oh, there's something I wanted to share before we dig back into the chat though. So when everybody joins these calls, it asks you for your name just so that it shows up. The only way you can see the name is by essentially being the host of the call or looking in chat when someone posts a message. Tom, what's your name in here, Tom?
Can you show it? I don't think you can.
I can't show it.
Oh, I wrote the devil.
This man, I swear it happened, and I've got the call log in front of me. It says the devil has joined the chat. It's.
And did you know immediately before his?
I had a hunch. I'm like, all right, either somebody's making a joke or this. This is pretty great. All right, I think I can get this on screen. Let me see. I might be able to make this happen.
I don't think it's gonna add to the joke.
Can you screenshot?
No,
Yeah.
I think people got it. I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's that I lost it when that happened. It's like
when I was throwing that video together today, and I got to the Tom part, I thought, man, if I had more time, I would put like a flame filter or something on this one. But so sorry, I didn't have time to do
Rob
that.
was editing it, so I knew if I was the last one in that it wouldn't happen.
Oh, okay. So you knew I was going to do that. Damn it.
Oh.
I stay out too late.
You sure do.
That
There is a curfew.
that's what people say. That's what people say.
Oh,
That's
no,
what people say.
Oh, Big! Oh, thank you. Happy 100th, Ben. Also, Pete, please put on a shirt.
Pete to put on a shirt. I don't think $2 is enough.
$2 to buy me a shirt.
Do I hear $3 to keep the shirt off?
I'll loosen my tie for Vic.
Oh no!
I gotta find a new shirt. Now that I'll wear this. But why? I'm assuming that they mocked her cover, because why TLM 1989? That's what I don't get.
Because it says TS 1985
Yes.
is the bot, and it's her.
The Little
It was sunglasses. Like if you look up her album
The
cover,
picture
it's
is the
an
same.
identical photo.
Oh, which?
Oh, I gotta find one that's like the Biggie Smalls one. That's also Disney. That would be great.
I still don't know why you bought that shirt if you didn't know what it was.
I just thought it was a hit for mermaid. I thought it was like
my
Brooklyn
God.
Little Mermaid.
We've got $7.99.
Have you seen that movie?
Oh, 3 to keep it off, 5 to keep it off. Thank you, Chris and John.
Come on.
Oh my gosh, this.
If Pete keeps his shirt off, I might be able to feed the staff this month.
Yeah, we've made over time. We've made far too much money off
So,
of body.
are we?
Oh my God.
Stripping for money.
But
You've also made
we
too much
don't
money
even-
off
a
Pretty
lot of
soon
it
our
goes
new
to
business
children.
model
It
is
did.
going to be an OnlyFans page. So
Oh, hell.
Can we have like
It's
a
me
double
describing
double
movies.
double
and
double.
Aw.
That's our OnlyFans.
What? $1 for 100. I love it. Thank you.
WDW nude today.
Oh no!
Oh.
Nathan, write that down.
Please don't.
No, I don't. That's not even a parody commercial we're doing on news tonight. It's not gonna happen.
No, that'll just be an internal like Christmas calendar for all.
Yeah,
of
because
them.
then they'll actually start. Then they'll actually
Christmas
start
calendar.
The investigation on
Calendar as a Christmas present.
Oh,
I don't know how
gosh.
No, I like your 1 month calendar. I like that idea.
I like. Did you guys see Martin's comment in the chat? He goes, Martin just wrote in the chat, I just got here. What's going on? Like,
Oh no! Oh,
let me catch people
Martin.
up. Let me catch people up. Pete watched Knives Out, but he thought it was Clue.
it was amazing
No, he
in
was
theater.
wearing a Taylor Swift shirt. He went out
Christmas
past
calendar
curfew.
is the one with the chocolates in it.
I don't know what
Steel
else.
liver.
And the parks are opening
Steel
June
liver.
1st.
Oh,
Yeah.
He thinks he's immune to the virus.
I don't have that one. Damn.
I don't think I'm immune at all. No, I'm. We can't make a joke about this. The virus is serious,
Yeah.
but you can joke about me. That's fine.
That's fair.
I don't want that to be known.
But before it gets lost, though, I do want to shout out to Schmo Force for the $2 super chat. Pete describing movies should be its own show. I think that's Shorn Force. I'm so sorry. Shorn Force.
Schmo Force.
Apparently, me reading usernames should be its own show. Really.
Cool as hell.
Wow.
I like how it gets really quiet, and then we all go.
Yeah.
Oh,
at the
it
same
happens.
time.
Yeah.
Welcome to every other episode of Park Center ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
It gets
almost time
I've
for
been gone that long.
someone to say something.
go around here, just like everyone. I don't know. I was gonna say something about the show, but we'll all just praise Ben for 3 minutes and then end the show. I don't know. Like, it's very nice. So quiet.
No, that's actually a good question, Adam. I like that. Let's go for that. When the parks reopen, what's everybody going to first?
Depends on what parks open.
Are we assuming Magic Kingdom?
Sanaa.
Well, that made sense.
That's not
I
even
actually have a dining reservation for Sanaa on June 16th.
What an awesome show!
Now that I can pronounce.
thank
Must
you.
be joking. I get it. With the $40 super chat, what a great group of people. Even the shirtless wonder. Thanks for a fun evening. Stay healthy and awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so awesome.
I think Animal Kingdom. For
Yeah, I'm going Flight of
Ditto.
Passage. Like real, like no duh, but like yeah.
Aw.
I mean, if I want to be strategic, it would probably be try to get a boarding pass for Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah,
it's probably what I'll
I'd be all
actually
about
do.
I can wait.
And then I can, go still in the middle of the afternoon. But yeah.
How far apart are the pods on Flight of Passage? Are they actually just inherently 6 feet apart?
They could cut whole lines.
No. Each
They're
seat?
like-
No.
Yeah.
No.
They're like probably
they're
like
four.
Right here.
They're just
Yeah.
shy. They're like
So you'd have to cut it in half. That's
You're
all
only
right.
3 or 4 feet away from the next person. I
That's
think,
frustrating.
Yeah.
If
Also, they
it's
could
16,
reach you.
I'm going to say you can only get 4 people on that ride out of 16 chairs.
I think
No,
that
I
message is.
think
you can get 8.
do every other seat. I think every other seat is probably
Yeah.
Would be enough room.
Yeah.
I just want to make a
I don't
point,
know,
and I
to
think
me,
this has
this
probably
is
been. Oh, sorry, Joe. I was just saying this is literally the weirdest possible scenario. Like, if we were to try to come up with like what's the worst thing that could happen to Disney, like on a long-term basis,
Yeah.
I never would have thought
I don't
like,
think I could have
oh,
imagined,
let's do the
yeah.
thing that keeps people from, because like this is an entire system that has been created and designed to max capacity, and in many ways, and I mean Magic Kingdom especially, like to smush. Like smush.
Fill in all available space.
Fill in all the available
Not
space.
necessarily,
And
but
you're
I think that's like
Well, to be
every
fair, Tom
film
might have
I've
jinxed
seen.
us because after K-Pac was named CEO, he said, "This is the worst thing that could ever happen to Disney parks." And then
I said it was the darkest timeline.
COVID-19
I said darkest timeline, and everything since then has been. I don't know. The Jungle Cruise boat sank. And it's like
all been
that-
downhill
it's
from
like
there
that
somehow.
since
We
then.
missed the
It's
sign.
like it's like the plagues.
Oh
the
god.
It's worth
the
though,
prophet
like
foretold the Jungle Cruise sinking, and we just missed the signs.
that
Jill,
was
I'm
a
sorry, I
sign
interrupted you
coming.
earlier.
No, I was just gonna say this to me is a I don't know. I think it's a lot of morbid curiosity, and I'm sorry if that's what I have, but I want to go to see what this is like.
Yeah.
Like
it's
when the
super
parks
interesting.
reopen, I absolutely
I
that
need
and
to
like
see it.
I don't like people being right up against me, so I kind of want to see what
Yeah.
Disney is like without having people kind of crushing in on me from
Yeah.
every side.
Yeah.
And then it's July, and you're
Granted,
wearing
it's
a
going to be
mask in the
creepy
last
as
10
all
minutes.
get out to have
Ugh.
having people with
no.
masks
You-
on all around me is
People
going
will
to be
be
creepy.
fine
but-
with masks in the summer. They do it in Japan. They were already doing it in Japan.
I-
mean,
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
definitely
honestly-
widespread. You see it a lot in New York on the subway too.
yeah.
Yeah. I
can't
honestly
be
think
on
it'll be creepier because it's still my theory that you won't see a lot of kids. To me, that's going to be creepier than people walking around with masks, is that you don't see a lot
I
of
just-
kids.
I
in
just
a
want to say
Disney
the
park.
No,
child
that's
with
just like you
millennial
went to
won.
Japan. Then.
Won.
It's going to be glorious.
Well, for those of us that haven't
Okay.
been to Japan yet,
It's a
It will
Faustian
be-
bargain. No old people, no young people, but you can't ride
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, guys, a Faustian bargain. Come on. You all know what that
You
means.
don't even know what.
Childless millennials, as far as the eye can see.
Is that a lost reference?
No.
I don't get it.
It's a Faust reference.
No, whenever I go shopping,
Pete actually owns a Faust shirt, but he has no idea what.
I did get it on sale.
Oh man. One thing in there that I've we mentioned the fill in all the available space, like they spiel that all the time in rides and stuff.
Thank
when
God
they reopen,
that's dead.
no, are they gonna have to edit the Muppet pre-show again? Testing deodorant strength. That line. They can't have that. They can't have that as part of the pre-show.
People don't listen anyway.
I guess.
It's not. They're not going to change stuff. Like they're not going to change stuff.
I think it's just going to be an understood thing to ignore that part.
Yeah.
But what about the
Why they
murder
would put in the
hornets?
effort.
Yeah.
What are we
I just
gonna
want to
do
shout out
about
to
murder
Disney
hornets?
who
Is
said
Colleen gonna get promoted
Get
from
promoted
bee to murder hornet?
We're just at Joffrey's. We're good. As long as they
Hold
stay.
on,
at
Alice
Joffrey's.
wants to talk about murder hornets. I see.
No, I don't want to talk about murder hornets. I want to talk about a line that is definitely going to be removed, and that is like move to the dead center of the room.
Oh,
Feeling
no,
all
I
available.
don't think so.
They're not going to be saying that for a while.
No, I
They
don't.
say
Here's
that
the thing.
anymore anyway.
I've heard.
They're gonna have to take the
I've heard
ghost
it.
out if it's reference to being dead.
I guess it's not a. I guess it's just a cast member spiel. But what I would say is
People
like
die
this
for all
idea.
sorts of things. What does it matter?
They're not
I
going
don't
to tell
think-
people to get in a big clump together in the middle and then
Right.
fill in all like to get
And
in
then
the
call
center.
it
But they
death.
They're not
also
going
have
to do
to.
that.
Well, here's the
All
thing.
the hitchhiking
They have to
ghosts
make.
have masks
They have to
on.
make people. They have to make people move to the center a little bit, so because it's a safety
They'll just
regulation.
stay away
because
from
of
the
Get
wall.
away from the
Yes.
walls.
Right. So you're right. And I think they'll also not have. Here's what I think. If you want to really talk about it, they're just going to open that stretching room, and you're just going to go through it.
Oh,
There's not going to be any standing around in a stretching room.
Yeah, you're gonna walk right through.
I guess
think that's
so.
the only thing.
You're just
I was
gonna,
gonna
they're
say
going
the
to
same
keep
thing.
you stretched out.
Yeah,
and
pre-shows are
you're
gonna
gonna go-
die. Yeah, the Tower ain't running that pre-show.
Yeah, same thing with
That's
Rock and Roller
right.
Coaster.
1.0. where
Rock
it
and
was
Roller
gonna
Coaster
be
would be able to
better.
fit like 6 people in the room if they actually ran it. You're gonna be running.
That's
through
no
I
loss.
guess I guess they're going to have to put up
What are
a
you
sign
talking
then
about?
because I once got very sick of the dinosaur pre-show and just went through the door. I don't know what I was thinking, and we were the only like 3 people there, and they were like, "Sorry, you have to watch it."
Yeah,
it's
this happened to
legal."
me too.
And I was like, "Wait a
'cause
minute!
test track,
I just came
I walk
through."
right through.
So, right. So that 5 seconds where they're like, whatever, put the seatbelt on.
Flash
That's
photography,
like
no.
legal.
Put on seatbelts. Yeah.
Well,
So I
that's
think
not.
you're gonna have to
They'll give you the safety spiel just in a different way.
Yeah.
But going back
Right,
to the Haunted
legal
Mansion,
necessity
they
is
can't let you
exposed.
run through the Haunted Mansion on the West Coast. It kind
Yeah.
of serves the purpose.
No, West Coast is different.
True.
West Coast is different. East Coast.
But West Coast is also going to open way later, I think.
By the way, legally,
Yo,
they
sure.
don't have to make you watch the video because all those rides you get in, then repeat that once you're in the vehicle. So
Yeah.
Dinosaur
true.
repeats it when you're in the
Okay.
car. That is
Then
a
they're
fail-safe
really
in
strict
case the
about it.
pre-show doesn't operate. So that's nonsense. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Well,
That's
a
probably
cast
just
member not
crowd
knowing what they're
control.
talking about, I can't imagine.
No.
How fast until Disney gets hit with a lawsuit for like getting the coronavirus at Disney?
Oh,
You can't.
It's
sue them.
unwinnable.
Allison?
You can't prove
6
it.
months.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
prove
Doesn't
it.
I
mean
mean, I
people
don't-
can't try.
Yeah.
Don
Orange
and
County is
It's-
not going to.
They're okay. They're going to try.
Do
First of
correct
all.
coronavirus
They're
at
gonna
Walt Disney
be-
World.
There we go.
Let
Yeah.
Allison speak.
So,
There we go.
oh, that's always what happens at the post show. It's fine. That's what's somebody's going to sue, and somebody's going to sue early. They're going to be, they're going to try to get people to sign waivers and all that stuff, but you can't waive gross negligence. And I think with an operation as large as Disney, gross negligence will probably happen, and it's actually not that difficult to do contact tracing, like, depending, I mean, you see what's going to happen, but contact tracing is not impossible, especially if we've already traced it to the park and to people who were there, and then they know where you are at all times because of Magic Band. So if you were seated next to this person, and then it shows that the cast member did not wipe down this thing, and then you got sick exactly like 6 days later, like those kinds of things make it possible to bring the suit, it's going to be very difficult to win unless there's gross negligence. But that's going to happen.
Well, they'll never settle. They'll never settle, because if they settle once, they'll have to settle every time.
Mm-hmm. Well, they can have NDAs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's things they could do,
and it could theoretically still be cheaper for them to just settle out of court than go through all the motions of a lawsuit. Like, depending on how much they're seeking, that could
they
be
got Orange County in their
cheaper.
pocket. So they have
both
that
Orange
counties in their pocket.
Well,
so
and
someone wrote
I know-
JPEG is gross and negligent.
Yeah.
They're gonna
accurate.
They're gonna have a million nuisance suits, and then they're gonna have like one that's like really legitimate, right? So that's what's gonna happen. Their legal department's gonna be busy. It's sort of recession-proof at this point with the legal profession.
Yeah, there are people that are going to go to Disney to then say they got coronavirus from Disney. Like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And there are going to be Gondola type lawyers like looking to bring these kinds of suits to see what they can get.
Yeah. That's Honda money.
Yeah. Well, and again, like I know we talked about this a little bit on Pressing Issues a couple of weeks ago, but the other theme to remember about this is Disney is not the only company that's going to be dealing with this. So it's not, I mean, Disney is unique to an extent because of the theme park environment, but it's not like people aren't going to go to a mall and say, I got sick at the mall or any other physical location. They're going to try to sue people.
Well, and they're trying to currently create legislation that makes it basically so employees can't sue their employers, which is wrong and gross. But it is, of course, something that I think also sort of can pertain to just being out in the open.
Also,
and I understand the
voluntarily going to a place. You're paying money to go to a place that you know is crowded. They don't walk into Disney and be like, "Oh, there's other people here. This is crazy." It's not going to happen.
Well, and especially if they do this reservation system like Shanghai is doing, where you have to go and make a specific reservation. There could be legal language in that reservation system that says you have to waive your right to sue Disney in order to.
You can't legally do that to people. If a company puts you in danger, they put you in. You can't do that to a customer.
There's only so much waiving you can go through.
Yeah. For your own negligence, it's not a thing you can do.
You can waive negligence. You can't waive gross negligence.
Right.
Legally.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if like a ride vehicle comes off the track and kills you.
Yeah.
You know,
I think if somebody legit gets really
I don't
sick,
care what
but
they
at the
write
same
on the
time.
ticket.
Right,
Yeah.
but
There's
that
a-
is way easier to prove than I got coronavirus at Disney World.
Right.
And it's Disney's fault.
Also-
Because you could have also, somebody might not have wiped down that ride vehicle, but you could have also then gotten off that ride vehicle and walked right into somebody who coughed in your face.
Right. Somebody just walked
Yeah.
past you. That's not. They
What
can't
is
stop
housekeeping at resorts going to do when they actually have to clean rooms now?
that. Oh.
They're just going to go in with a UV light. It's not
Ashley,
gonna-
how
it's
do
not
you
gonna be
feel
any
about that
cleaner.
shot?
All I can say is this: 10 years ago, we cleaned rooms. What happens now?
I believe that 10 years ago, yeah.
Not.
I've just seen them. I've watched them turn over a room at All-Star,
Well-
and it's gross.
Oh, you said All-Star.
Because it used to be. I mean, well, you remember the
They're
Grand
all trained
Villa.
the same. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They're literally all trained the same.
That's
But,
why I take the
mean,
gift card. Give me some towels and I'll take the gift card. Let's go.
Yeah.
But Grand
It wasn't
Grand
clean
Villas.
before you got in the room, though.
No, but Grand Villas legit used to have, and they would, when they did your deployment for that day, they would block out 3 hours if you had to turn over a Grand Villa from a checkout.
Wow.
Because they wanted everything cleaned. That's how they
Why
used
do
to
you think I
do
have
it
a
10
strong
years ago.
immune system?
I don't think that happens anymore, though.
Look, it's going to be.
Throwing that out there.
People aren't going to come because it's going to be a stupid, miserable experience to spend extra time in an airport, hours more time to get to Florida, and then wait more time to get a room, and then get to go to a park where you have to wear a mask at 89 degrees.
I mean,
in
it's
the
going to
humidity.
be driving crowd only for a while. But
Oh, yeah.
Once the world says it's safe, people are going to come out.
I know there's
Yeah,
also
I have-
definitely some employers, and I think some states that have, if you come from this state, thou shalt self-quarantine before you can return to work or do anything.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah.
Is that way?
Pete
My
is an
thing is, I
alien
think
now.
I think
Georgia
that
definitely is not.
No.
Yeah.
I keep telling my family members there are $11 flights down to Orlando. Come on down.
I have
If
no
flying is hard,
issues-
people are just gonna drive.
Yeah. I have no issues with if this reservation system works. They'll never do this. But if it works, keeping it in place forever is fine by me. I'd rather just reserve my trip to Disney as an AP and the park be at 3/4 capacity. That'll never, ever happen after a pandemic. They'll open this thing wide open.
Actually exists at Disneyland already, though.
That's
the Flex,
true.
The Flex Passport you can only use on days where they know they're not going to be at capacity.
Right, but they can't
kind
do.
of
I mean,
exists
but they don't have to do that here, and so they won't. And there's
No,
they
don't.
There's a reason for it, but it would be a much better experience at places like the Magic Kingdom if it was 3/4 the capacity.
I mean,
all the
that's just the way. That's the way these are. I mean, that's just the. If they're enjoyable places, they're going to be busy. Could Disney have increased capacity over the years? Yeah, we know they underspent for 30 years. We understand that. But at the end of the day, if you want to go to a Disneyland with no people in it, there's always Hong Kong. And I'm not even saying that as a joke. I'm serious. Like, even after this, they're not going to recover even after this. When I went, I was like one of 12 people in the park. I just went on Mystic Manor 25 times in a row. So just go there.
That's great.
It's fairly cheap. The flights are actually real cheap. Just go to Hong Kong.
Tom, don't rub this in anymore. I was in Hong Kong for like 48 hours and I didn't get to go, and I was very sad about it. And now Tom is making me even sadder.
Did you see Hong Kong in the middle of the coronavirus?
I'm not saying in the middle of it. I'm saying even when
At
it's
the
over,
end.
you can go and there'll
Yeah.
be no one there.
Yeah.
It wasn't
in
going
3
on
years?
when I was there.
It's
There's
I
always
mean,
Studios
it's going to be the
Paris,
first
too.
to recover, like, just based on, like, it got it first. Like, if
But
we all
what
have the same
People
timelines.
who went to Disneyland in the 60s go to Hong Kong and they'll say to you, oh, that's what Disneyland was like in the 60s. Like, yeah, you had Pirates and Mansion, but also, like, it wasn't crowded. Like, you could do things.
Yeah.
It was a normal amount of people. And that's what Hong Kong is kind of Disneyland in the 60s, where they have those base attractions, but then they opened a couple of really cool things like Mystic Manor, Grizzly Gulch. So there's not 100 headliners, but there's enough to have a fun day, and there's not a lot of people. And that's Hong Kong is.
But what are the
basically
games
Disneyland
like? Are
in
the
60s.
games easy to win? Can everyone win the games, or just certain people?
Do you get a giant pin?
Like if there's like special
Who told
prizes,
this
you want to.
story?
Oh,
Jason
okay.
did.
It was told on air twice.
I've heard this story. I heard this story from Jason right after you guys got back.
Because
I just
Jason's
want to know. I mean, it
always
sounds
feeling
like there's
he's
no
throwing a
crowds. You can
ball
play the
into a
game
basket.
over and over
We
again.
learned Jason's one and only skill in life was throwing a ball into a basket to win a pin. Yeah.
So if the
That's
NBA
all-
gave out a
that's
pin
all
instead
he
of a trophy,
does.
he'd be, there you go.
Not
Jason's
even.
my
No, it
personal
has to be
hero.
a small rubber ball into a concrete basket.
Ah.
That's
There
it.
should be a new game on News Tonight.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my
Colleen,
goodness.
get on
We
it.
can do that. I'm sure we can do that with call-ins. It'll work great.
All you gotta do is you just have to do it through
and then the
VMix.
amount of power.
Just have to do it through VMix.
Train of thought goes so well. Let's do a ball.
Yeah.
I love Train of Thought. It just got to
I
move
do
faster.
too. When it's not delayed and Nick's actually talking to the person on the phone. It's great.
Train of Thought moves
When
like
Nick
Cat
sits
Double
there,
R.
Twinkle board.
when Nick sits there and doesn't prompt the person on the phone, it's not.
We could make a Plinko board and then just ask people which slot they want their ball to drop down.
That's a terrible idea.
Oh,
Colleen's
God.
gonna-
I just want to say, on a regular show,
Colleen
Go ahead,
can build
sorry.
it on Colleen's craft corner.
that is
There
true.
you go. And then
First you let the
the calling
concrete
people
sit.
can just pick somebody on staff to do it for them. They can have like their champion play for them.
We're going to let
sounds
this
like
basket of
more
concrete
work.
sit and tune in 4 days where we use this basket of concrete. Thanks for watching Colleen's
I might,
Corner.
I might have to bring back the map game at this rate.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
No, I'm not.
you
I'm
heard it
never,
at the map
I'm never
first,
bringing
folks.
back. No, never bringing it back. It's dead.
Somebody isolate that
Forever
clip.
dead.
It's like a
When
political
we get back to the
commercial.
parks and we do liquid magic, the only way you're going to find out where me and Nick are is by playing the map game, and we're going to appear in one of the places.
Liquid
Is that how
magic,
that
or as
game
I
works?
call it, Nathan won't play the sound.
I still don't know when I'm supposed to play that sound.
Or a video of apparently.
Every pore.
Nathan's nonverbal.
No one told me.
It's now time for Nathan's nonverbal protest. Everybody.
I'm sorry.
I've learned now. I know when pores occur.
Yes.
I'm supposed to, but I've also
Really?
found it's
I don't
very
even know.
annoying.
Anything
I don't know
happens
either, to
in
be
the
honest.
segment, you just play it. That's it.
Gosh.
Oh man.
I wanted Tony Town Squares with all the characters at WWNT. That's what I want.
Ooh, that'd be fun, but I don't know if we can pull that off.
I
don't know
think
if that's
Match
physically
Game's
possible.
going to be all characters next time.
Oh.
Next week.
Oh, like Snap
You should invite the gangster from the Great Movie Ride to participate.
No, because he echoed back into the segment and it was terrible.
That was not the gangster's fault. From what I heard, that was someone else.
It's the gangster's fault because
That
he had
was,
his headphones out.
No, that was that was Mandy. She had logged in for the game, but had her headphones out. So
Why did it work during rehearsal
He
then?
sabotaged the segment.
no. It was, certainly don't want
No,
to put Mandy
Mandy
on blast.
Ended of her.
Wonderful. Mandy
Yeah.
didn't do anything wrong.
First of
No,
all,
it's
I
just
would
either
gladly
way.
take the heat over Mandy. I
I
love
didn't
Mandy,
have.
so
I
I'll take the
had
bullet.
the audio on.
Why did it work
was my
during
fault.
rehearsal and not during the show?
Pete still
I
yelled
had-
the next line while what's his Chapek was still talking. Pete moved on to the next line at one point. But anyway.
Oh gosh, chat wants Tully
I
for
don't
the
know what you're
map
talking
game.
about.
Oh man.
I wasn't on there.
No,
Map
Tully.
Why?
Tom is very anti-Tully.
What?
Because it's
Tom's-
a generic cat.
I can.
Oh my god. I
What?
love
He's
this game.
I'll give him a
fantastic.
custom
But he's
shirt.
got a Canadian accent.
He
When
does.
Tyler can draw an original character and animate it in that way, then we can do it.
You know, just
I'm
all your
not-
time and energy and
I'm
effort.
Not gonna work for us.
That's
Tyler,
recorded.
Make it happen.
Wait a minute.
I'm
Wait a
not
minute.
having
Don't we just
pre-made generic cats on my show?
don't we just need one with its mouth
A
closed
lot of work
and
went
one with
into
its mouth
Tully.
open, and we
There's
just
so
go
much
back and
Tully
forth
love in the
between the
chat
two?
right now.
I mean, we
Pictures.
can, but
It'd be simple. It'd be
Look at
simple.
Tom's face.
oh gosh, it's the Pete mustache. I didn't even have to draw it this time.
Tully is love. Tully is life. I hate this.
All
I
right.
love this.
This show has gone completely and totally off the rails, and it's starting to run a little late. So I think we should put this one to bed.
Success.
What are we here
Someone
for
said
again?
this is just a staff meeting now.
Yeah.
Aw.
For the sake of everybody,
It's missing Colleen yelling at everyone.
It's liquid Tully.
Yeah.
Can we talk
Stay on
about
topic,
the
Tom.
things we
But
have to do?
I was just about to have my wine.
read the website.
Guys, read the site.
There it is.
and we'll be
Now
good.
I'm gonna loudly eat ice cream.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we still have several hundred people watching us live, so thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, hello and
Yeah.
welcome to Jokes That No One
Thank
Gets
you.
But
It's almost 11, so hundreds
Okay,
of you watching. Thank you
Jokes.
very
No,
much.
we cannot
love you.
live stream
Live
the
stream.
staff meetings.
No, we can't because
Oh, why
Tom
not?
just
You don't wanna see
legitimately
him.
curses at me.
No.
That's it. That's all he
Allison
does.
laughed way too hard at that, by the way.
It's just a darker version of this.
I can't even
Allison,
live
you'd
stream it. Like I can only
Allison,
read
you'd
the
have
notes.
to show up to one.
Correct. Since the baby,
Hey,
it's not
that's a
happening.
choice. That's a choice.
Anyways, thank you
I
folks for
didn't know
joining
it
us.
was
Thank you
Ben
for
Cake.
sticking this out.
Thank you.
It's been a ride. I know at least from when I first started watching WDWNT before I did anything with these people, one of the things I used to always love was watching stuff go off the rails. So I'm glad we could provide that for you folks tonight.
By the
Thank
way,
you
my
all.
favorite comment tonight was that ParksCenter is the one show that starts on time.
I mean, we've got a
And then
decent
goes
track
an hour
record.
late.
For the most part.
So thank you all for joining us. Big thank you to all of our wigs who make this show and every other show we put out there possible and worth producing. If you want to see this post show every week, we do it every week after ParksCenter.
It's just like this.
Yeah, it's like it's usually a little more structured with a fewer people, but it's this. We still get pretty zany, honestly. Head on over to patreon.com/WDWNT for as little as $2 a month. You can get access to this stuff. It helps support us and keep this show running along with all the other shows we put out through WDWNT. So thank you to everyone who supports us, and even if you can't support us, thank you for watching. We really do appreciate it, and we will see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
Yay, congrats!
I'm the devil.
Thanks
Still,
for watching. I
still
appreciate
theoretically
it.
live. I'm just cleaning up everything.
Good. I want them to know this.
Still theoretically the devil.
Good night, sweetheart.
Theoretically.
Well, it's time